Hello to the chicos, to the chicas. Today is the fifth final installment of the Mo Inside My Head paid sponsored videos, and I am playing against Jetty Nate, I guess, from Australia. So a fair dinkum Aussie friend, and I'm playing e4, e5, and we are playing 15-10, ladies and gentlemen, because we have received some positive feedback about the 1510 time control and its benefits, and my ability to better explain my ideas and my thought process as we play. And normally I would play knight f6 here to follow my beginners opening repertoire slash course, but I'm going to play bishop c5 just to play something different than the usual routine. c3, and I'm going to play here my old line that I played a fair bit when I was a youngster, and that was this d6 variation. It's a fascinating line, not exactly 100% sound, but it has got some clever ideas to it, which I would like to share with you. The concept, quite surprisingly, is the fact that we give up the center, and then we are going to try to undermine it to the best of our abilities. So what's going to happen is that we are going to play knight f6, not anymore apparently, but we normally would have, to attack e4. d4 would be under attack by these two, and bishop g4 pinning the knight on f3 would have been the last part of that equation. But now instead I have to start worrying about f7, and so knight h6 is forced. Now this is a double-edged situation from White's perspective, who is throwing in the kitchen sink, because obviously they are abandoning the center entirely. d4 is already very loose, but still f7 is hanging, except I see zero reason for me not to castle here, which is going to resolve the problem of the f7 pawn. A lot of people would be very reluctant to castle here, because it feels like I'm getting attacked there, but actually nothing is further away from the truth. I safely secured the f7 pawn by castling, which brought in the rook as a defender, and I only need to worry about kingside shenanigans if the knight moves away, so that bishop takes h6 becomes a worry. But, and this is a big but here, of course, dropping the knight back means, and in fact, in general, everything would have meant after castles that I had bishop g4. So it's my strike first, and that I shall do. So bishop g4 essentially decides the game, and by the way, already there is a lesson for you to take away from this game if nothing else happens at all. And I'm going to show you exactly what that lesson was by going back to the beginning. Note what I'm doing on almost every move correctly. Center development, center development, center development. Oh, I got excited. Take is not, so I'm not going to count that. And that had to be a tempo loss. I developed another piece, not center, but development. Secured my king. And by move 9, I'm done developing every single piece I own, and my king is safely castled. What is this if not the epitome of opening success, right? And I did not do anything special, anything unique. My method of beating my 1100 opponent, if I end up beating them, is the most basics of chess. Develop center castle. And people tend to act, you know, at 1300 level, at 1700, at 1900, like, oh, that's for the babies. And then once we learn opening theory, then, you know, we step out of that into the next realm. Nah, that's not how it works. Opening theory is based on the exact same core principles. Now, bishop e6 seems to be winning a piece because of the extremely awkward placement of the queen. And because of that, I am very highly inclined to play it very soon, unless I can do something even better than that, but that appears to be unlikely. Knight b4 may be even better though, because that hits the queen and the rook on a1. Spoiled for choice much? Feels like it, doesn't it? Well, actually, bishop a6, queen b5 doesn't quite win the bishop. a6, queen a4. So upon reflection, knight b4 appears to be the better move. Let's go. The better developed army reigns supreme. Bishop g5 is played. I quite like that idea. It is clever. My opponent plays, by the way, at an insane rate in terms of time consumption. Like, that is just crazy city how fast he's playing. Now, again, normally I would take bishop takes d8, then go back to b4, and that would hang the fork as well as the bishop on d8, and that would be winning. But I just noticed that if I go queen e8 here, then now I'm also hitting e4 with check, that is. So let's say queen e8, the queen has to go. Oh, queen takes b7. And that keeps an eye. But then rook b8 actually traps the queen. Hello? Haha, that's cool. Okay, so let's go queen e8, queen b5. Hitting the knight, by the way. Queen takes e4 check. Let's say, I don't know, king f1. And then if knight c2, then they have bishop back. Interesting. Interesting. So one more time. Queen e8, queen b5. I mean, hang on. I can just take and then go after the rook, right? I mean, probably that's going to end up only being an exchange. But even that is perfectly sufficient. So yeah, I'm doing that, I think. So actually, okay, one more thing. So queen e8, queen b5. Let's say queen b5, bishop b5, knight c2, king d2. I guess knight takes a1, knight c3, bishop takes, pawn takes, bishop takes d4. And I'm picking off a heap more pawns on top of that. The alternative is to simply take the queen, bishop d8, knight back to b4. Let's say bishop g5, knight c2 check, king d2 again takes. Not really much of a difference. But I would like to examine this variation one more time during their time, which is why I ended up with the queen e8 move order. So, yeah, queen b5, queen e4 check, king f1, knight c2, bishop d3 is a surprisingly dirty turn of events. Now, a way to deal with this is that if they go queen b5, queen e4, king f1, I insert bishop takes f3, gf, queen f3, rook g1, and then bishop takes d4 is a mate threat on f2. That is pretty neat. And if rook g4, excuse me, then we have queen d1 checkmate. Wow. Hello. Let's do this again. Queen b5, queen e... Ah, my opponent offered a draw. Queen b5, queen e4, king f1, bishop takes, king takes, queen takes. That looks very delicious, guys. Rook g1, bishop takes d4. And, yeah. Now, against queen b7, we did plan rook b8, trapping the queen. And I would like to be an honorable man. And keep my word. b8 it is, and we trap the queen. And again, I would like to highlight to you the fact that I am playing with a full deck, which was a beautiful metaphor for suggesting that all my pieces are deployed. He was playing with a half army. And so my victory was not necessarily coming from, you know, some superior skill or calculating ability of any kind, but simply me being the player better employing those chess principles that I so often like to talk about. Now, I would suspect that we are going to score here a fairly high accuracy rating. Let's say I expect 97.8. Ho! Hello! Full screen, where are you? Oops. 100, friends. 0-100. 0-100. Alright. Quick analysis. There is not a lot to show you, but that little that is there, I am going to show you. No, that's not the cut. I wanted to go this one. Sorry. So, bishop b6, knight g5, knight h6 best. Queen h5 was very iffy. Castle's best. knight f3, question mark, bishop g4, developing. Again, I must stress this, guys. Even when under duress, and by the way, this is the typical reason and way how things break down on lower level, that players behind the black pieces here feel under pressure. Oh no, my f7 pawn is hanging. Oh no, I'm getting attacked. And all these negative feelings of, oh no, I'm getting attacked, this is scary, sort of rewires the brain, and they no longer do what they are meant to do. And they start to come up with their own ideas and fabricating a completely non-existent narrative, which is that, oh, I couldn't finish development because of this, that, because I'm under attack. Is this? Yeah, nah. On the contrary, what you need to do in such cases is to ensure that you continue doing what you are supposed to do despite the potential threats. Of course, you need to deal with them, but you try to merge the two together and you find the moves that deal with the threats and also tick the boxes of development, king, safety, center, and the likes. And so after, once again, a mere 9 moves with the black pieces, I'm done developing, I'm done castling, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready for war. My opponent is not even remotely close for that. Queen d5, knight b4 was best, proudly found. Queen e8 was best, proudly found. I wonder if I would have lost any value for taking this and then after bishop d8 going back. And apparently I would have dropped about a point. So this position is minus 411 according to the engine. And after knight takes and dropping back to b4, it would have been about 3.2. Queen b7, rook b8, queen trap. Bishop f7 was a last hurrah, or rather a hope check and then capture. Now the line I wanted to show you, which I found quite fascinating, was that after queen e4, at first I stupidly first calculated knight c2, which is very, very greedy, and indeed after bishop d3 things get a little bit hairy. Black is still winning with knight takes d4, which is a beautiful in-between move, hitting my opponent's queen and also evacuating the knight. But then I found out, or rather I found, that bishop takes f3 leads to a sensational position where after takes, rook g1, bishop takes d4, guarding f2 is very difficult because rook g2 is met by mate. And so bishop h4 is the only move. I didn't call this out during my calculations. And then knight f5 hitting the bishop again is pretty much game over here. Note that this adds an extra layer of threats. So it's not only the bishop. Assume they take this. Do you take the bishop? I don't think so. Actually, here is a puzzle for you. Can you find the best move for black here? Pause the video. Best move is knight e3, king e1, queen f3, queen d1 mate. I don't think I left enough time there to pause the video. Sorry. So yeah, this would have been a very clean win. But yeah, the opponent unfortunately fell for this queen trap, which allowed me to wrap up this game very, very quickly. I think the rating gap here was a little bit too much. Nonetheless, we played a little cutie here, and 100% accuracy, of course, will never leave a bitter taste in our mouth, that's for sure. So yeah, that was it. Once again, shout out to the legend himself, Mo, for sponsoring this series of 5 games of Inside My Head before the year is out, and I managed to meet the deadline. I'm very proud of that. I've got a few video ideas in my head on the ready, so stay tuned because 2024 will be no different. Awesome content coming your way to support your chess learning. On that note, I'm going to now sign out. Please don't forget to sub, to like, to thank me if you can, or even super thank me if you can, and I will be back in the new year with more chess content. See you there. Bye.